Hey guys, it's Metal War God on a Sunday afternoon. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this. Vinyl Hunter, new stuff. Actually, it's probably going to be more along the lines of vinyl that I've been buying online. Usually my Vinyl Hunter series, I usually am out and about at shops looking for stuff. Well, you could consider this out and about online. Well, actually, been buying most of my stuff online that I do buy used from discogs, and there's a couple of sellers that I'm usually buying from. One particular seller that goes by Levici. He's out of Florida. Guy has a ton of stuff that he sells, and a lot of it is, well, I shouldn't say a lot of it, but some of it can be pricey, some of it can be, well, you know, I mean, a little more than what you normally would see, but then again, it's discogs, and some of the sellers jack prices up, and I tend to stay away from a lot of that stuff that's been jacked up, but this particular seller I buy from has sales going at least once a month, and I think it's been 4 or 5 times that I've bought when he's had price reductions or sales going on to thin out his collection, and I believe it was about 2 weeks ago I actually went in and bought a bunch of stuff. And I mean, I bought a bunch of stuff. And again, last week I bought some more, but I haven't gotten any of that yet. That should be here probably by Thursday, I believe. But this stuff is, it ranged anywhere from 90 cents to $4.17 for a vinyl. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed by what and how the condition was in with probably all of these albums. And there's one exception that I did play one album, and well, let's just say that it was going to go to a VC member, but this one is not going to go. I don't think it should go. If I do send stuff out, it's usually very good stuff. But this one anyway. But first off, I'm going to get into some stuff that I've been getting in the mail, and I got this yesterday actually. And I was really happy to see that this has actually been remastered and out on vinyl. I'm going back into the 70s again, which I've been predominantly buying. I do buy a lot of new stuff as well, but my main focus is going back into the 60s and the 70s and picking up some vinyl that I did not have and wasn't fortunate enough to find back in those days because of where I live and shops and so forth. But I did find a lot of stuff from that era, and I'm going back and picking up a lot of this stuff now. This one I got yesterday. I think it was yesterday or Friday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they finally remastered Leaf Hound, Growers of Mushrooms, on vinyl. 180 grams. Let's see, it's out on Repertoire Records. Still sealed. I have not heard this, although I do have the CD, so I don't know how the vinyl is on this. I'll get a chance hopefully sometime soon. And this of course was released in 1971. Definitely a psych, hard rock, maybe a little, I wouldn't say a little doom at times, but more psych and hard rock, but good stuff from these guys. If you like that era of music, definitely look for this. I didn't pay a whole lot for this, 15 bucks I think, over on Amazon, but check it out. And then, let's see here, I don't think I have that out. Here it is. Anyway, my last update I had mentioned about the Riots coming out, 2 albums coming out on vinyl for the first time. And I showed the first one, which was Sons of Society. I heard that. Great. Sounds great. And I have not heard this one, but I got this last week. Finally picked up Riot in Nishmore. This is a gatefold, 180 gram black vinyl. Metal Blade reissued these. And as far as I know, I have most of these Riots on vinyl now, so hopefully they'll be releasing the other stuff that were only on CD out in vinyl, but great band, and just glad I could pick this up. And then finally, I pre-ordered this. I did show the 7-inch singles. I got 3 of them. One was clear, one was black, and I think one was orange, if I'm not mistaken. Orange or blue, I can't remember, but those were the 7-inch singles, and it was the Rise of Chaos. I finally got this last Thursday, day before the release date, and we're gonna actually do a sealed to revealed on this. And anyway, what else that came with it was this poster that was with it. Of course, shows the last 3 that came out. In my opinion, 3 of the best back-to-back albums I think ever that I've heard from one band. This new one, I really haven't digested it fully yet, but what I have heard, I'm liking, and so I got the vinyl of this. I do have the CD coming as well, but anyway, let's reveal this. This is a limited edition, and so we are going to see. I know what color it is, but if you guys know, probably know, there are different color variations in the vinyl. And of course, the hype sticker, I've been keeping all the hype stickers a lot now on anything I get and put it inside the vinyl. So let's just see if we get this open here. Very staticky. Of course, here's the back. Here is the front. And of course, they are shipped out of the package. Here's the gatefold. 8 songs, let's see, what is it, 8 songs? Yeah, 5, 10 songs actually, which I think is just the right amount of songs for a vinyl. I don't think they should go any more than that. But this is limited to 700, and it is the custom centers. It is a blue and orange vinyl, so 180 gram, and very looking forward to this. We could have maybe put it on one vinyl, but they decided to put it on 2. And here is the other vinyl here. I think one of the coolest colors I've ever seen on a vinyl. I mean, there's a lot of different colored vinyls, but anyway, great packaging. Of course, Nuclear Blast always does a great job in marketing, getting these albums out. I've never had a album from them that I bought and that I've never had an issue with it. They have a great band catalog, and so I'm just happy. Well, let's see if we get this back in here. Sometimes I just hate getting these back in because they're so hard sometimes. Anyway, so the brand new Accept, The Rise of Chaos. And from what I have heard so far, in my opinion, some songs that are standout is Kool-Aid, Hole in the Head, Race to Extinction. But will it match up to the other 3? Hard to say at this time, but it may. There are some people who are saying that, well, they really didn't change it up much. It's the same stuff that they've done the last 3. I mean, if the formula works for a band, why change? I mean, why experiment? Sometimes I think it does not benefit a band when they change. Straightforward German heavy metal In the Accept Way. Of course, this is Mark Tornillo's 4th album with Accept, and I think he does a fantastic job on this. Is it my number 1 of the last 4 with him? I don't know. Hard to say. I won't know yet. I still need to hear this more, but glad to get this. Okay, now we'll get into some albums that I bought on discogs, anywhere from 90 cents to $4.17 from Levis, and this guy never fails. I mean, the covers are in great shape, and fantastic stuff. And first up, a band called Marseillais, and this was actually released in 1979, and it is on Mountain Records. It says RCA, but it is the Mountain Records label on the vinyl. Good stuff. Killer 70s hard rock. I think it's very heavy for 79, and I believe these guys are out of New York, if I'm not mistaken. But great album from these guys. Check them out if you've never heard this. Killer 70s rock. Up next is a trio of albums. I had one. I did have one of these albums back in the 70s, and they only did 3. A German band, and the first one I ever had back in the 70s. I bought this one, a band called Bastard and Tearing Nights, a German hard rock band. And this one was released in 1978. This is a German pressing on the Strad label. And is the album totally heavy? No. It has softer spots on it, but I've always liked this band. I don't see too many people ever show this album. Bastard here and Tearing Nights. This is number 1. And I actually went and I picked up number 2 from Bastard, Back to Nature. This is from 77, so this is their first one. And again, this is, I do believe, it is on a different label, the Nova label. And like I say, they only did 3 albums. 2 studios. And anyway, good stuff here. Let's see if we get this back in here. Oh man. So here's Bastards, Back to the Nature. And then I have Bastard Live and Alive. It's recorded on a German tour from 79 and 80, and I'd never seen this one before. The other 2 I have, and this is also on a different label. This is on the Lava label. And so I got all 3 of the Bastards on vinyl finally. And I say just not real heavy hard rock, but they do it very well what they do, and anyway, good stuff. So 3 albums from Bastard. And in the background, what I'm listening to is kind of an alt rock band from the 80s. I think, let's see, I gotta see what year this was from. Actually from the 90s, from 96, band called Gigantic, and their album Disenchanted. And I remember hearing this on a radio station that played kind of alt material on Sunday mornings, and I dug this album and I picked it up. Okay, next up, filling holes in the catalog and some status quo and whatever you want. This is a German pressing and I believe this came out 1979. And I don't see this very often. Even online, I don't see it very often. Love Status Quo. In fact, they just played Vaughan Open Air this past weekend. Speaking of Vaughan, which was last weekend, Accept was at Vaughan Open Air, and I actually watched the live streaming, I believe it was Friday or Thursday. Anyway, one of those days, great show. They had the orchestra in the background. So anyway, here is Status Quo on the Vertical label. So anyway, some more Status Quo to fill up holes. And like I say, these covers are in great shape. The vinyl's in pretty decent shape. And so anyway, I was happy to pick this up. And then I finally picked up another one of these, band out of Canada. Band called Hookfoot, and their album Communications. Back in the day, went for $1.50. You can see the sticker's still here, a little tore off, but that's the way it came. And it is a gatefold, and I'm trying to see what year this was. 1972 for Hookfoot. And it is a gatefold. Just early 70s hard rock on A&M Records. This is a promo. And I was happy to get that. White label promo on A&M Records. So we get this back here, and it's very cool. It has, well, the little A&M there. So, anyway, let me get this back in here. Second album from Hookfoot, Communications. And then Scott Waters and myself, we trade back and forth. I'll send him stuff, he'll send me stuff. Out of the blue, I'll send him stuff that he doesn't know is coming. And I know he's a huge Aerosmith fan. And I asked him if he hit. I didn't know exactly what this one was when I was over at my friend's. This one was not from discogs. This was from my friend that lives about 20 miles from me. And this was another one of the bootlegs that I got after I picked up some stuff a couple weeks ago. The last couple bootlegs I showed was Iron Maiden and Guns N' Roses and Rolling Stones. But this one was, I didn't know if Scott Waters had this, so I bought it, picked it up, figured maybe he didn't have it, and I asked him what albums he had that were bootlegs, and he did have this, and this is the bootleg from Aerosmith, Get Your Let Out Mama. And of course I'm going to be keeping this since he does have it. It was recorded live in Columbus, Ohio, 1978. And let's see here. Somebody actually crossed out the what sides these are, what side 1, and then it was side 2. Somebody put side 3 and then put side 4 on there. Well, I wish I wouldn't have done that, but it is what it is. My Iron Maidens have no label on them. And so, anyway, some bootleg Aerosmith. Get Your Let Out Mama. Good stuff here. And then, this is, I think the rest of these are going to be part of the Levici stuff I bought from discogs. And I seen this. I think I paid $1.97 for this. It's a promo. It's Loverboy Live. I think one other person I know has this. Showed it. I actually was lucky to even find this. Loverboy Live, white label promo on a Columbia label. It needs to be cleaned a little bit, but anyway, it's a demo, not So side 1 has The Kid Is Hot Tonight, and side 2 has Teenage Overdose and Lady of the 80s. So I got most of Loverboy stuff. So it was a no-brainer in picking this up. Like I say, I think I paid $1.97 for this. But anyway, Loverboy Live. And I did not know this band. I just got it because of the description. And I was surprised. I think I paid $2.97 for this. Or $2.17 anyway. It was in that range. But the band was called Miss Daisy and Pizza Connection. Punch out, or it is a cutout. It's sealed yet. And I think this is more of a thrash album from these guys. Not positive. Have not heard this before. Bought it because of the cover. And let's see, this came out in 1989. So anyway, here's some Miss Daisy with Pizza Connection. And it is on GWR Records. And then this one, again, it was because of the description. More, I think they're more AOR-ish sounding. But this band is called Whiteface. And this was released in 1979. And I mean, the cover is pretty cool. It's kind of embossed out here. Here it's embossed out on the Mercury Records label. I'm not sure if this is a promo or not. It is not. But anyway. Some hard rock, AOR-ish hard rock from 79, Whiteface. And then some early stuff. From 1972 and or early 70s hard rock, and the band was called Medicine Head, and the album is called One and One is One, and it might have a little, maybe a little southern rock vibe going on here, a little bit of some hard rock, but I got it because of the cover. And I used to do that a lot back in the days. And it is on the red Polydor label. So, very good. It's got a split seam down on the bottom here, but that's okay. Good stuff here. Band's called Medicine Head. And then some of these I picked up for a VC member. And I actually had to order some other ones, this particular album, because this one is a promo, and the band is called Earthquake, 2 Years in a Padded Cell. This came out in 1979 on Berserkly Records out of the Bay Area. There are only a handful of bands that were on that label. This one, Greg Kinn Band, there are a couple others. But this is later on in their history, and it is a white label promo. And definitely some good 70s infused hard rock. God, I'm trying to think. These guys had a sound of their own, actually. Of course, the members were John Dukas, Robbie Dunbar, that I mainly know from guitar. But anyway, this is a promo copy of Earthquake, 2 Years in a Padded Cell. And actually, I believe, I gotta see if I can find it. I cannot find that one. Hang on, guys. I gotta find it. And I don't know if I'm gonna find it. Hang on. Anyway, I don't know where it's at. Might be over here. Sorry about that. Let me look in this pile once. And I might be missing it. I don't know what I did with it. There it is. It was there after all. But anyway, sorry about that. I also picked up Earthquake 8.5. In my opinion, their best album they did. And there are two versions of this. And I did not know that until I got this one. I ordered another one because I promised an Earthquake to a VC member. But this is I believe, the first pressing of this particular album. The other one is a gatefold edition, and this one is actually still sealed. And of course, it has the different number or catalog numbers on these. This is a JBZ0047. I can't remember what the other one was, but these guys put out, I believe, 5 studios, if I'm not mistaken. But I did order another one of these. But this is Earthquake 8.5. I don't know, somebody online said that's not a really good album. I said, what the hell are you talking about? Have you really sat down and listened to this? Great 70s hard rock. They do a, let's see here. Not on this one, but they do a live version of Get Your Kicks on Route 66, very good edition. And some of the better songs on here are Finders Keepers, Little Cindy, a girl named Jessie James. But anyway, good stuff from this band. Like I say, this is probably the first pressing on Berserkly. I do have the gatefold version. I see Earthquake quite a bit, but I've never seen this particular album in a single, just the gatefold only. And I see them in Fargo quite a bit, but I pick them up from time to time and I send them out. But this one, I ordered another one of these. This one I'm keeping. And anyway, Earthquake. And this, I got this because Scott Waters showed it. And it was, I think, $377. $277, something like that. Flame and Queen of the Neighborhood. And this was 1977. I like how it's dedicated to Bonnie and Clyde. And so I picked this up on RCA, and look forward to hearing this. I know Scott Waters was very high on this, and that's the reason I got it. So anyway, Flame. And going through his, I mean, this guy had like 20,000 albums listed for sale on his discog sites. And I think I only went through 3,000 of them. He has 7-inch. I mean, it varies from rap to hip hop, country, to progressive, early progressive rock. And I came across Samson. This is not with Bruce Dickinson. This is later. And there it is, sealed copy. Came out 1988 on Razor Records. Shocked that this was sealed, but happy. Again, 277, 377, no more than that. So, anyway, some 80s hard rock metal from Samson. And a band, I'm not sure, I probably have heard the name, but I have not heard this particular album. I don't know if there's a few bands with this name, but this is an EP, a band called Hammerhead. And this came out in 1984. I believe these guys are out of Germany. So I'm going to imagine it is hard rock metal. here on the Harvest label. From the description, it was described as heavy metal, so I'm going to assume that it is. Of course, it has a heart made of steel, don't cry your life away, make it to the top and kill the night. But I like picking up stuff like this that I've never seen, never heard, and add to the collection. Cheap. So anyway, some Hammerhead. And then another one, I thought this was sealed, but it is not. It just has the outside cellophane on it. And a band called Locust and the album Plague. And I believe these guys are more prog rock in nature. This came out in 1976, and it is on. Very cool inner. The Inuit Copetus record label. And but anyway, I've never seen this before either. I've read about it, but I've never seen this. And but even back in the day, I'll show you this here. Put this back in, if it goes back in. Okay, go the other way. There we go. Anyway, $2.99 back in the early days, and I can remember buying albums for that. But anyway, a band called Locust and the album called Plague. And then I seen this on his site numerous times. Finally picked it up, and a band called Target and the album Captured. I believe this is their second album. Of course, this is with Jimmy Jamison. And Jimmy Jamison, I'm now trying to think of, I believe of Survivor. Went on after this band and formed Survivor. And on the A&M Records, this came out in 1977. Love the cover. And looking forward to this. And like I say, most of the albums that I gotten from this guy, they're great shape, vinyl's in good shape, exception of one that I got wasn't. And so anyway, what do you do? And then I've never seen this, big fan. I seen his brother, I got a stick, actually from his brother, Vinny Appice. He was playing with Black Knights Rising. Got to see him in Fargo a few years back, but I've never seen his brother, and his brother Carmen Appice, in the album Rockers from 1981 on CBS Records. Good stuff here. Actually, I believe it. Maybe it's Pasha Records. Let me take a look at this. Yes, it is Pasha Records. So this is an original. It is a cutout. Cutouts bother me? Nope, don't care. As long as I have it. You know, cutouts to me were when they, a lot of albums didn't sell back in them days, so they just put them in a bargain bin and cut them out, whether it be a little slot, a little hole, clip corner. I don't mind the little clip corners, but when you cut out a big corner, that bothers me quite a bit. And but anyway, here is Carmen Appice with Rockers. And I had this back in the day. Love the guys playing. I loved him in Free. He went on to do some solo material. And I'm talking about Paul Kossoff. And this is basically a collection of Free stuff. Backstreet Crawler, his solo stuff. I'm talking about Koss. And I had this at one time, but it was not this version. This is more of a glossy cover. The other one I had was more of a rougher cover. And if I'm not mistaken, this is an original with and I got to be very careful with this. It is a gatefold with the insert. The one I had did not have this in there, kind of a little book that's attached. My first one did not have this, so I was happy to get this. And I love Paul Kossoff. Very talented. It's on DJM Records and Tapes. Not a real heavy guitarist by any means, but his playing is really fantastic. I consider this guy, Steve Marriott, Tommy Bolin, back in those early days as some of my favorite guitarists who are no longer with us. Of course, Jimi Hendrix is not with us, but I like Jimi Hendrix, but I prefer more of this kind of guitar playing. And but anyway, this is Paul Kossoff and the album Koss. Getting down to a last couple here, and I do a lot of searching on YouTube for stuff, and this band kind of intrigued me. I went on and heard it, went out, and I really wasn't looking for it, but when I was going through Lavishi's site, this was on there, and from what I heard, I liked. It's kind of a maybe a southern country vibe, maybe with a little bit of hard rock tendencies in it. Not real heavy at times, but still not bad. The band is called Daddy Cool, and the album's called Teenage Heaven. And I mean, the cover is, I love the cover. Great stuff. It is a gatefold. It's kind of a, you know, you open the Sunday comics section and this is what you get. Kind of like an Archie and Veronica deal. But this was actually released in 1972 on Warner Brothers, and this cost, excuse me about that, I gotta get back to this was released in 1977, so it was after, well after he died. I remember picking this up, but good stuff here. And anyway, Daddy Cool here, gatefold like I say, and it is on Reprise Records, the orange Reprise label. This isn't an original pressing. It's always fun to go back into the 70s and get stuff that you never had a chance to see or even come close to getting, and thanks to places like YouTube to showcase some of this stuff, and discogs where you have an opportunity to buy a lot of this stuff or at least search it out. Anyway, here's some Daddy Cool with Teenage Heaven. We're getting down here to a few, and then I was talking or messaging back and forth with Metal Ron, and he's a huge Twisted Sister fan. I said, I like Twisted Sister. I never had any in my collection. So as I'm going through Lavishi's site, I came across 12-inch single of Twisted Sister, and it has, of course, 45 RPM on here, and it has the kids are back, you can't stop rock and roll, we're gonna make it, and of course we're not gonna take it. 97 cents I paid for this, and so I was happy to pick this up. 12-inch single, Twisted Sister, and this is one I picked up for a VC member as well. This is a promo band called Creed, and this was released, I believe, in 1977. Just great killer hard rock. This is the only album they ever put out. I do see this from time to time, but never in this decent of shape. And I think I've had 3 copies at one time. And but this is a promo. Good stuff. Great guitar work. Heavy. It is a promo. And white label promo on the Asylum Records, and good stuff. I play this quite a bit and often. It's just a great album from that time period, and people, when you mention Creed, of course, people only know the Creed from the 90s with Scott who was it? Yeah, Scott Stapp and those guys. But I always say, you know, that was not the first Creed around band. In '77 was the first Creed. And it was a way better music. Band called Creed. Good stuff here. And this one, when I actually saw this, and it wasn't, I think it was like 377, but I'd never seen it on this label. I could be mistaken. Maybe this label is pretty well known, but I'm not widely positive that it is. But I bought it because of the label, and early Deep Purple and Shades of Deep Purple from 1968. Cover's actually in pretty decent shape. Surprised, it got a little tear up here, but I can glue that back on right here. But it is on I'm gonna mess this up. It is on the Tetragrammaton Records label. So I'm not sure if this is actually, this might be an original of this label. I'm not sure if they were on a different label after this or re-recorded this on a different label. I'm not positive. Maybe somebody can help me with this. But anyway, I picked it up because of the label. I love Deep Purple. I've never had this one. And like I say, from '68, of course, let's see here. We had John Lords, Rod Evans, Mickey Simper, Ian Pace, and Richie Blackmore on this. So very, very early Deep Purple. Good stuff here. So anyway, now we're getting, here's a new one I got. I should have showed this in the beginning, but I did not. Re-release. Nathan, I believe, showed the CD of this and he wanted to get on vinyl, and I did go and get it on vinyl. A band called Wolf. This is the original Wolf, not the Wolf from Sweden. But this is called Edge of the World. Fantastic stuff here. Great 80s heavy metal, new wave traditional heavy metal. But I finally picked this up on High Rollers Records. And definitely pick this up, check it out, and see if you like this stuff. But I was glad to get this. And one more, and this adds to my ever-growing golden earring collection. And it's News, North, East, West, and South. Came out in 1984 in Polygram. And I don't know how many I have on vinyl now. Must be 10, 12. 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, but needed to pick this one up. And so anyway, this adds to my ever-growing golden earring. I know Naz Nomad is a huge golden earring fan, and I don't think I've ever seen him show this, if he's had it or not, but I know he's like I am, got to have a lot of the golden earring stuff, and I do, a lot of it on CD, and a lot of it on vinyl. But anyway, just glad to pick this up. Something I got from my friend a couple weeks back. I don't know if I showed these or not, but he's really into books and stuff. But he actually gave these to me. And this is at a Rolling Stones album guide that came out in 1992. And it's pretty much a lot of the commercial stuff that came out back then or before. And has some interesting stuff in here. It is a big, huge book, but I like stuff like this. And then he also gave me Martin Popoff. Came out with this, the Gold Mine record album. This is the 6th edition. And not exactly sure when this came out. Let me see if I can find a date on this. Not sure if I can. But anyway, yeah, I said I'll take this. 2009 this actually came out. But a lot of good stuff in here. I actually go through this quite a bit and see what albums are going for. Back in them days, this isn't a Bible by any means. The prices do change. This is what prices probably would have cost back then. Not now. They change a lot. And the last one he gave me was Goldmine Heavy Metal Record and Price Guide. And this is absolutely fantastic. Got a lot of killer stuff in here. Some of it I do have. This came out, this is also from Martin Popoff. This one came out in 1999, so this is an older one. I do have a lot of this stuff that's in here. A lot of it I don't. But one of them here is Ethel the Frog. I think they are from the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Back then it went for, let's see here. Ethel the Frog, 1980 actually, this came out. So I use this quite a bit as well. So anyway, that is all I have. I will have another update coming here probably next weekend, as I'll be getting a bunch more stuff. But anyway, the Vinyl Hunter. Hope you enjoy this, and leave comments below, and I'll see you next time, guys, and take care.